MeannaDK checking in once again. And
it's just me and my disciples. Talking to God while we smoke though. We keep the lighter in our circle.
Good morning, y'all. So I'm definitely not gonna tag anybody, and this live may not even last long. I know it's early. I haven't even really gotten out the bed like that. But I want to talk to you about something very, very important that's going on today. Today, Byron Allen is arguing before the Supreme Court against Comcast and Charter. Okay. Well, actually, I don't even think it's about Charter now, but Comcast for sure. And they're arguing because they are protesting Byron Allen having access to as many cable channels as he does. He's trying to buy up a ton of cable channels, and they don't want it to happen. Now, Byron Allen has already won in court. He's also won in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And so this is the last ditch effort by Comcast to stop this black man from being able to have the things that he's supposed to have. Now, I'm going to tell you why it's so important. I'm going to try to break it down in just a few minutes here. Why it's so important is that the Civil Rights Act that was signed over 100 years ago, something like maybe 120 something years ago, it's either 123 years ago or 153 years ago, Civil Rights Act was signed. And the very first law in the Civil Rights Act was that black people were supposed to have full access to government contracts, to, the same ways that white people have access to wealth, black people are supposed to have access to wealth. We're supposed to have representation in capital financing. Like if we wanted to borrow $100 million, we are supposed to have access to that same type of financing that white people have access to. And they are blocking that. It also says that you cannot discriminate against black people for race, right? Okay. So what Comcast is trying to argue is that if you cannot prove that 100% of the reason why we discriminated against you was because of your race, then you can't sue us and you can't challenge us. It sounds asinine, I know, but this is what they're trying to argue in front of the Supreme Court. But the spirit of the law said that you can't discriminate, and that they didn't say 100%. That means if any part of your reason of discrimination for this person is because of the color of their skin, you can't do it, right? So Comcast is trying to set the Civil Rights Act back 123 to 153 years. If they happen to win, do you know what that means for black people? Do you know? See, people, if I was on here and I was talking about pussy and dick and fucking, I probably already have 17 people on this live. But I'm talking about something that is so important to us, right? Okay. So let me tell you how scared Comcast is. Since Byron Allen has already won two times, okay? What they did was they did something very unprecedented. They got the Donald Trump Department of Justice to write their brief to the Supreme Court. It's never been done before in the history of this country, okay? So they got the Department of Justice to write their brief to submit, okay? So when they're arguing before the Supreme Court this morning, Byron Allen will have 30 minutes and Comcast will have 30 minutes. Comcast is doing something unprecedented. They are giving 10 of their 30 minutes to Donald Trump's Department of Justice to argue on their behalf against the Civil Rights Act. If they are successful, it will set back the Civil Rights Act. It will set it back, okay? They will be taking it back to a time where you can never hire a lawyer if you get fired. You can never claim racial discrimination if you can't prove that 100% of the reason why you didn't get that promotion was because you were black. If you can't prove that, and we know that it is impossible to prove that, because your job can say, yeah, maybe 99% of it was because they were black, but the other 1% of it was because I didn't like their haircut. And because of that 1%, they won't owe you anything. That's what's at stake. So all of the people that get discriminated against in their places of business, basically they will be saying you can be discriminated against and you cannot sue your employer because you can't prove that 100% of the reason why they discriminated against you was because you were black. And I don't know if you know how important that is, but that's basically giving free reign to every person that believes in making America great again. And they can discriminate against you because of the color of your skin, because of the new law. And I believe that that's why the Trump Department of Justice is arguing, because they would like to roll back all kinds of civil rights statutes. You see what they're trying to do about Roe versus Wade. They're trying to roll back the Roe versus Wade so that women can't get abortions, so that we don't have a right to do what what we want to do with our own bodies. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's so important for those of you who pray, and if you but I don't give a fuck what you believe in. I know I believe in the spirit of the living God. However, if you do not, if you believe in crystals, then do your crystal shit, okay? If you do cards, go read your cards or whatever it's saying. If you are a positive energy vibe kind of person, send out positive vibes. Whatever you can do, because see, we need God to come in and intervene on our behalf. At this point, it's that serious. That's where we are. But see, the media would have you believe that T.I. checking his daughter's hymen is more important. You understand what I'm saying? The media would have you believe that it's more important to watch the impeachment hearings, which do start today as well, right? That's more important, right? So that's what they're going to push. Do you know that yesterday the Supreme Court of the United States heard the DACA issue? Did you know that? Like, it wasn't like advertised. However, they took up the entire DACA issue. So what that means is for people of the Hispanic population that were brought here when they were kids and they're still here now, they're trying to take away your right to be a citizen. They're trying to take away your right to be in this country because you weren't born here. Do you know how many millions of people that affects, and how many millions of families, and how many millions of businesses that affects? And we heard nothing about it because all they've been talking about are impeachment hearings and T.I. and his daughter. And it's like, in the grand scheme of things, none of that shit matters. What matters is what's going on today at the Supreme Court with Byron Allen versus Comcast. I don't know if Charter is in on it still, but they could be. It could be Byron versus Charter and Comcast. I don't know. But whatever it is, I know that as a culture and as a community, we need to be mindful and pray. Even if you can't see it, just call out. I'm not saying you gotta, snot and all of that stuff, but just call out a prayer. God, we thank you for blessing Byron Allen. God, we need you to be in that courtroom. God, we need you to look out for us. Because see, if Byron Allen is not doing it, no one is looking out for us. Byron Allen is a billionaire several times over at this point. He's doing this so that other black people can become billionaires and so that we can control what we see on TV. See, he brought up a great analogy. He said he asked a white man, would you be comfortable if me as a black man controlled everything that your daughter saw about herself on TV? And the white man said no. And he was like, so how do you think we feel as black people not having any ownership or not having any control over what our kids see in terms of their images on television? And that is pretty much it. We are trying to do something better at this point. We are trying to make sure that for generations to come, we have access to the decision-making power that comes along. Now, some people may say, well, what you mean? Tyler Perry got his studio. That's what's up. Tyler Perry still got to go through people to get those movies and TV shows put on the air, right? Byron Allen owns the companies that put the shit on the air. And that's the kind of control and access that we need as black people. And that's what he's fighting for today. Now, I know this is not one of my standard lives where I'm talking about personal accountability or I'm talking about sex or whatever, but this is probably one of the most important lives I've ever done. Straight up. So if you guys get the time today, if you feel it pressed upon your spirit, Just call out his name. Just say, Lord, you know what to do, Byron Allen. Or Lord, Byron Allen, do it for Byron Allen. Lord, send your peace into the Supreme Court courtroom. We just need you to watch. So all of us, this is just my little rallying cry. If we all have some time today on our way to work, on our little breaks that we take, you know, here and there, taking a sip of juice, just call out Byron Allen's name all day. All day. I don't know what time the hearing starts today. I don't know what time it's over. So let's cover all the shifts. And let's do what needs to be done to help this black man stand up for all of us as black people. Okay? That's it for that. I appreciate y'all taking the time to tune into the live, okay? I love y'all. I swear I do. This is the ending of my video. Oh, thank y'all for watching.